What is going on, guys? This is the Club of the Man 1993, and this is episode number 249 of WWE Turn Alert that I have held back from for probably the past month because I didn't think it was going to be. Well, the Brawlin Brutes were somewhat positioned in like a babyface role, starting with their feud whenever Sheamus became number one contender for Gunther's Intercontinental Championship. At the time, of course, it was two heel factions, basically, and two heels facing each other for the titles. Well, of course, it was 3-on-2 until they brought in Giovanni Vinci to reform Imperium on the main roster, which has been awesome so far. So, to me, at first, it came across as like, okay, this is kind of like a temporary thing. They weren't going like all out with them as baby faces at the first few weeks of this feud. But I would say since the Brawling Brutes earned a shot for the tag titles on SmackDown tonight, which unfortunately they lost due to interference from Imperium, based off the promos they were cutting and how they were responding to the audience and just like reacting with them. Even Sheamus recently, whenever they did, I think that 6-man tag match on the Fallout show from Clash at the Castle on SmackDown, I think they're actually going to they're going to seriously make them baby faces. I feel like if it was a temporary thing, they wouldn't be like acknowledging the crowds and like, you know, like cutting promos where like, you know, they're like, they feel like legitimate baby faces, not like de facto, like temporary ones. Like they don't feel like, you know, like just badasses, like heels posing as a baby face. Like they feel like they're full on baby faces. So I felt even after their performance tonight on SmackDown and everything, I think it's safe to say for now at least they're baby faces. Now of course, this come back to bite me because in 2 weeks. Sheamus and Gunther are going to have a rematch for the Intercontinental title on the season premiere of SmackDown on the October 7th edition of SmackDown. So, I mean, I was going to say we'll see what happens after that feud, but again, the Brawlin Brutes earned a title shot. They were acting like legitimate baby faces, so I'm like, okay, for now, I'll just go and say that they are baby faces. Which is interesting. I do feel like, of course, this feud not only, again, brought out, like, one of the best matches of Sheamus' career, but I definitely think that it's also brought attention to the Brawling Brutes. Because also, what was helping, too, I think, is, even though, I don't know why yet, they haven't completely brought back the proper name for him, but Pete Dunne, or, of course, now known as Butch, is getting his groove back, for sure. Like he's no longer that, you know, scrawny looking kid like the Grover Dill lookalike that's literally like a caged animal and that's all he is. Like, no, he has the look back. He's wrestling like the Bruiserweight. It's just the name's still there. But, you know, he's honestly one of the better things about this stable. Ridge Holland, I mean, although I'd definitely say Ridge Holland's probably the weakest member, I still like what I see in Ridge. Well, Ridge the Fridge, as apparently Sheamus calls Ridge, they were saying tonight. But I've always been intrigued by Ridge Holland. Like, I liked him when he was in NXT UK. Yes, he wasn't like, you know, like a big must-see star, but I was always intrigued by him. I know his time in NXT was kind of, you know, limited because he did suffer that severe injury. Because he was originally supposed to be, actually he was supposed to be in that War Games match with the Undisputed Era and Pat McAfee's team. But then when Ridge Holland got hurt, they brought in Pete Dunne to replace him. But yeah, I mean, Pete Dunne, Butch, should be a badass babyface like he was in NXT UK. Ridge Holland, you know, is solid. You know, I feel like he's still trying to connect to the audience, but the crowd was giving him some pretty good reactions today, especially when he did like that double, like, you know, suplex thing he did on the Usos was awesome. And Sheamus, again, here's what I think about Sheamus. I feel like he's definitely better suited to be a heel. I do think, even like he even agreed that, he thought he was more of a bully as a babyface than as a heel before he turned heel when he came back from injury in 2015. He's technically he's been a heel pretty much ever since, except for like a couple little temporary spurts, such as whenever him and Cesaro were first put together. Even though for a while it seemed like a kind of like a replica of like Miz and Mizdow, where there was the Bizarro team. I feel like around WrestleMania they kind of like tried to sell him more so as a babyface, because they had him kind of like as a babyface when they had their first match with the Hardys, and then of course they both turned heel at Payback in 2017, and he was kind of like a brief like tweener, or same thing Bizarro team thing whenever he started teaming up with Drew McIntyre on Raw late 2020, early 2021. So he's had a couple small stints, but he's mainly been a heel since 2015. And I keep saying this too. Sheamus, I feel like, is still one of the most underrated, underappreciated stars in the business today. He's, I feel like, one of the more dedicated workers. He's one of the harder workers for sure in the company. He's like a hard-nosed brawler, I think, as well. He doesn't get as much credit as he gets. Like, I think he definitely, yes, he's a little overrated with his resume. He hasn't had the best title reigns, that's for sure. But again, he's someone that you still gotta look at and see him as a star, and possibly a future Hall of Famer. So he definitely deserves the respect. I feel like they may be doing his babyface turn also to have him over the standing ovation that he received in Cardiff as well, which he deserves. So, like I said, this may be, a risk taker of, if this really is a true babyface turn or not. I still think right now it might be, because the Brawlin Brutes feel like more established. Like, I actually legitimately could see them being tag champs someday. They feel like, they're finding their groove with this whole thing, this whole feud with them and Imperium. And I really like it. Again, we got one of the best Intercontinental title matches for a long time and of all time at Cardiff. We're getting a rematch in 2 weeks, which we've been on the pay-per-view, but totally fine. It's going to be awesome when it happens. And again, it doesn't even need a stipulation. As I talk about in my SmackDown review, it doesn't really need a stipulation. I thought 2 out of 3 falls maybe, but So yes, I'm okay with them being baby faces. So we'll see where it goes. I am liking what I'm seeing from them for sure right now. And again, I think the big thing I think that's really helped, one, is that match between Sheamus and Gunther, and two, the fact that Pete Dunne is being Pete Dunne again. Rich Holland again, like I said, he's improving. Again, he's always had my attention. I think he really is starting to get it now though. So we'll see what happens. That's my thoughts on the Brawlin Brutes. It's fight night, being baby faces. What are your guys' thoughts on this? Do you think the Brawlin Brutes are baby faces? Think it's just temporary? Think they're better as heels? What do you guys think? Make sure to leave your thoughts down in the comment section below. Also, how many of you also want to see Butch be named Pete Dunne again? He's wrestling like Pete Dunne again. He's looking like Pete Dunne again. Just give him the name back, please. Please, Hunter. Please. Leave your thoughts down in the comment section below. Be sure as always to slap a like on the video. Subscribe for more content on my channel. Follow me on Twitter as well at DemandAirboy93. And as always, guys, please stay tuned for more WWE Turn Alert.